Alright, before we begin this video, let me just say up front that I really do not like talking about politics. I try to avoid them, I have my own thoughts on things, but most of the time I don't bring them up because despite the fact that Donald Trump is in this presidential race, it doesn't have much to do with entertainment news or commentary or humor as far as I can see most of the time. However, a few days ago, hopeful presidential nominee Bernie Sanders of the Democratic Party fired some shots at Disney, and Disney fired some shots back, and I feel like I need to comment on this if I am to live with myself in the morning. At a rally, do not ask me which one, I do not know for the life of me, Bernie Sanders was quoted saying, "Anybody making a living wage working for Disney? It's an example of what we're talking about when we talk about a rigged economy." Sanders also went on to say that people working for Disney are so poor they are living in motels. He might be confusing that with the Disney College Program, but let's give him the benefit of the doubt that he knows what he's talking about. It did not take long for Disney CEO Bob Iger, who is increasingly becoming more like Michael Eisner despite his best efforts, to respond to the allegations. In a private Facebook post that, of course, went viral, Iger said to Bernie Sanders, "We created 11,000 new jobs at Disneyland in the past decade, and our company has created 18,000 in the U.S. in the last 5 years. How many jobs have you created? What have you contributed to the U.S. economy?" Booyah! Iger just totally slammed Sanders. That'll teach Sanders to pick on those corporate CEOs who don't know what they're talking about. Right? Well, no, Iger didn't school Sanders. In fact, if anything, he completely avoided the issue altogether. See, the thing is, Bernie did not complain about how many jobs Disney created, he was complaining about what the jobs paid. I mean, when you look at all the movies they make, the theme park attractions they have to refurbish, the new expansions, the Broadway, the toys, Disney, of course, creates thousands of jobs every year. That's not what Bernie was complaining about. What he was complaining about was how little these jobs paid, and how he perceives people to not be making a livable wage off of these jobs. I'm not going to comment myself on whether or not you can make a living wage at Disney, only to say that while I worked for the company, I did pretty well for myself, all things considered. So since Iger clearly avoided the question altogether, he lost in this battle, right? Well, no, he didn't lose either. See, the minimum wage in California is $8.25 an hour. The average Disneyland employee starts at $11 an hour. There are some jobs that start at $9.75, but most start at $11. That means Disney actually pays its cast members more than most places in California. What's more, full-time cast members get benefits, something a lot of companies, Walmart, don't provide regardless how much they're asked to. So if Iger wanted to make Bernie look like an idiot, all he had to do was point this simple mathematical formulation out. But really, at the end of the day, who wins in this argument? Did Bernie win, or did Iger? Honestly, neither of them won. Like, Bernie's big mistake was that he attacked a company that is actually historically known for paying their employees more than other big corporations, and ignoring the fact that they also give benefits. I'm also going to throw in that this whole motel thing that he's talking about, he could very well be talking about the Disney College Program, where people go and they take an internship at Disney, they work the theme parks, and they live in a housing department. It should be noted, you don't need to do this, however most DCPs will do this because it saves a lot of money, and it's a stepping stone until they can find a more permanent place to live in 8 months when the program is up. And of course, Iger lost this battle because he completely ignored the question altogether. Yes, it's commendable that Disney creates jobs. That's not what Bernie was talking about, though. He wasn't talking about the jobs being created, he was talking about the quality of the... And when you get down to it, both of these statements, both Bernie's and Iger's, only exist for public relations. Bernie wants to be looked at as the good guy because he's going after a company that's not paying a lot of money. Iger, knowing that logic doesn't always work with people during the election season, wants to make Disney look like the good guys for creating job opportunities in general. Basically, they're both ignoring the key issues of what they're being asked and pulling up things that they think will make themselves look good, whether or not that stuff is actually true or not. It's also moments like this that I like to tell people that, yes, while Bernie is a better candidate than Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump, he is still a politician. He is not God. Don't think he's completely different from all the other politicians. Now, if you'll excuse me, I've got to go to Disney's California Adventure because there's a new Frozen musical that's just opened. See you later, and flame responsibly.